Saludos, amigos of the Unofficial Commentators. This week we talk about the NBA Summer League, the MLB All Star Game, the Home Run Derby, and some of the storylines still left in baseball. Is baseball fun again? Who's the face of baseball? We cover that and more. We also talk about the UFC, the state of the UFC International Fight Week, and UFC 213 and all the pullouts. We briefly cover some of the Mayweather, that's what I'm calling it, the McGregor Mayweather main event coming up on August 26th that we're all going to be watching. But in the middle of the whole thing, Pacquiao's lights kind of go out. Well, maybe that's foreshadowing to McGregor's lights going out. In any case, stay tuned, man. This is a fun podcast. We had a lot of laughs. I hope you enjoyed as much as we did making it. And here we go. Unofficial Commentators begins now.
All right, fellas. Unofficial Commentators brought to you by J98 all the way from Brooklyn. Back over here in the Dominican Republic, the little island. What's up, Jay? We got a really jam-packed episode today. I mean, believe it or not, there's always shit to talk about, and that's what we're here for. So, tell me, man, what do we have today, bro?
And have you checked out Spider-Man yet?
Have not seen it. Definitely have it on my list to do things. I'll see if I catch it maybe during the weekend. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to go watch it eventually.
Very likely by the time we record the next episode, we'll both have something to weigh in on in terms of Spider-Man, because I've heard a lot of good things, and I wasn't really excited about it, but I think now I'm interested in watching it. Again, I haven't seen any spoilers. I haven't read anything, leading up to the thing. I just want to watch it with an open mind and, decide what I think about it after that. So I'll give it a good long look and kind of go from there.
Nice.
So, let's get into some topic, man. But before we do, usual thanks to our sponsors. We want to thank Scotch Porter, the beard products. If you're into the beard grooming, if you want to look fly and fresh and have all the ladies coming for you, get your Scotch Porter products on and get your nice full beard. So Loyal Clothing Inc. Find them on Instagram. Purchase your garments there. Ah, man. Well, one can only hope. So the summer really isn't meant for indoor sports, man. Let's talk about baseball. Baseball is the big thing right now. They're on a break, but baseball's always been a sport that's more fun to talk about than it is to actually watch. Like, I like to play it. I like to talk about it. I even play fantasy sports and compare the numbers and stuff. I just can't get around to sitting in front of the TV and watching. But you know what did get me in front of the TV? The Home Run Derby. That's fucking right.
Home Run Derby, yeah.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Now. They changed the format around. I don't know whose idea this was, but kudos to them. They gave them this 4-minute thing and just said, go from there and just hit balls. How do you want to approach this? Do you want to talk from the beginning to end, or just talk about the fact that Aaron Judge hit close to 50 runs?
Well, I didn't catch the entire Home Run Derby. I caught a basis. I did catch the final round, of course. So if you saw it completely, give me your intake on it, and then I'll give you my 2 cents, just like you did with the Summer League. I'm going to shit on your Home Run Derby just like you shit on my Summer League.
On my excitement?
Yeah.
I grew up a Yankee fan. I recently started rooting for the Angels. I have personal reasons to root for that team, but quite honestly, man, I was happy to see that the young Yankee sluggers are really making an impact, not only in the Home Run Derby, but also in the baseball league. The talk of the town right now is the winner of the Home Run Derby, Aaron Judge, highest selling jersey. He's potentially in line to win a Triple Crown this year, and all of this in his rookie season. The way that rookie seasons work for Major League Baseball players. This guy's a relative unknown. I don't know what he did in the offseason, but he switched up a little bit of his swing, and now he's striking out a lot less. And it's very possible that the new face of baseball may have gap teeth.
Yeah, man. Now that you're talking about the Yankees, before we even get to the Home Run Derby itself, Aaron Judge is a beast. And unlike
Absolutely.
yourself, I did not grow up a Yankee fan. I fucking hate the Yankees, but I give credit where credit is due. I actually grew up a Mets fan, so I've been surrounded by a lot of failure my whole life.
Yes, you have.
I'm grown enough to know this. I'm actually too young to have seen a championship with the Mets. but Aaron Judge is he's the real deal. First of all, the most important thing is he's wearing pinstripes, right? That's number one. It's like the Yankees are blessed by the angels of baseball. You know, the angels in the outfield. You remember that movie?
Right.
It's like these guys are blessing the Yankees from above because the Yankees lose Derek Jeter to retirement after an entire career of Derek Jeter and selling the shit out of Derek Jeter, and of course he produced as well. And now,
Capitan, yeah.
yeah, and now they get blessed with Aaron Judge straight out the farm. Yeah, he didn't come in as young as Derek, but because he's 25, but he's definitely causing a bigger impact right off the bat. Pun intended, impact right off the bat. You know, because not only
It's really not as funny if you have to explain it. But I love you are.
I mean, not only is it because of the stats and the home runs and how this guy just manhandles the ball is impressive and everything he's doing on the baseball field, but the fact that he's 6'7", 270 pounds is huge. It's inevitable for you to admire size in sports. You have to admire size in sports. It's no way around it. You admire LeBron because of his size when he came in. You admired Shaq because of his size. Nobody cared about Jordan because he didn't have size. He had to prove himself. You know, so size is a big thing in sports. Baseball hasn't been blessed with size in a long time. I mean, the last player with size that I think that actually took over the entire mainstream was Randy Johnson with 6'10". You know, taking over mainstream. Yeah, McGuire too, but McGuire came back all the way from the 80s. So it's been a while. Randy Johnson, lasted a little longer. So it's like this guy, and I saw A-Rod said something very interesting on TV. It's like this guy could have played basketball or football if he wanted to, which he did both in high school. He was an all-state receiver and all-state center in basketball, and he chose baseball. So that's good for the sport. He brings good publicity. Yankee sales and ratings are up 40% from last year. Why do you think that is? It's all about the Judge. So I'm telling you, the Yankees are blessed. Aaron Judge looks to me like the real deal. This guy, he just flicks his wrist and the ball just flies off.
Now, here's the thing I want to say. You say that they're blessed, but you were, very excited to get a point out there about the fact that Golden State really knows how to draft, and they do this and they do that. First of all, the Yankees have two things going for them. They're the Yankees.
Right.
27 titles in the bag. Everybody knows the Yankee. Every player wants to grow up and play for the Yankees. It doesn't matter what they say after they make some other team. Like, nobody grew up and said, man, I really want to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They wanted to play for the Yankees. So They got that going for them. Everybody wants to go there. And on top of that, I mean, they have an excellent eye for baseball, man. They have an excellent farm system. They're always trading their farm players for bona fide, players that are already in the league.
Right.
So these guys know what they're doing. They're not just blessed. These people aren't coming out of nowhere. They know what they're doing. They have the scouts. They have the right training teams. Aaron Judge, he may have been MLB ready last year, but he was striking way too much. And I don't think he fixed his swing on his own. Somebody was there coaching him and made him into the beast he is now. So,
right.
In a sense, you got to thank he has to thank the Yankees for giving him that opportunity.
No, you're right, and it's fun. It's important to say
right.
that because Aaron Judge is not a natural baseball talent. He was made into a baseball talent. That's why he's 25 and now a rookie in the major leagues, and that's why he was called up last year, in September, I think it was a September call up, and he batted 147 and struck out over half of his at bats. That's why he wasn't that big of a deal coming up the pipeline. Nobody cared about Aaron Judge coming up the pipeline. So you are right. He was a man-made player based on coaching and hard work. But when I say the Yankees are blessed, it's not because they found Aaron Judge itself. Because, of course, you got to give credit to the Yankees. It's like the timing of everything. The Yankees are moving on, from Derek Jeter. They had a pretty good year last year. Now the Yankees are moving on to the new age, the new Yankees, the baby Yankees, Gary Sanchez. Just as easily as this guy's could have failed, it's just like they sell the baby Yankees and it all works. It's like amazing, the timing of everything. That's what I'm more impressed about.
And they're doing all of this without any huge free agent signings, and they're doing all of this while staying under that salary cap that they made for themselves. And they're probably not going to win a World Series this year. I mean, when it comes down to it, you can only get so far with hitting. Our Gary Z, he made an excellent point. all of those players are going to bat when they play in Yankee Stadium, but when it comes time for the playoffs, you're only going to play part of the games in Yankee Stadium, and you may as well suck in the other games. And when it comes down to it, if they were to lose a series and you say someone like Gary Sanchez bats, 350 with 4 home runs, he probably did that in all of his home games. And then what did he do in the away games? And the same goes for Aaron Judge. He might have hit, 400 with 8 home runs, but he only did that in the home games where they blew the other team out, and then they lost the tight games because the pitching was better. But I guess we're moving away more from the home run derby itself, and talking more about some of the storylines in baseball. And I do want to give that its due attention, but I just want to say, when it comes to home run derby, all of us must rise, man. The Judge is in. He's the new slugger of baseball. He made Giancarlo Stanton, who for many years was considered the hardest hitting baseball player, he made him look like a garden gnome, basically. It's sad to say. I saw a picture of him, of Judge in the middle. It was Giancarlo Stanton on his right side and Cody Bellinger on his left. And, Cody Bellinger looks like, and I don't mean this to offend anybody, but he looks like, one of those Make-A-Wish kids. They put a jersey on and a hat, and he was like admiring Aaron Judge. And then Giancarlo Stanton just looks like a very strong garden gnome.
Yeah, I mean, no, and I'll tell you this. What you said is very important, that they kind of fade away and you don't know outside of Yankee Stadium. But I don't think this is going to apply for Aaron Judge. First of all, because he line drives balls, he flies them out. His power, because of his size, is amazing. And because if he's so big, his body's so big, I think he can withstand easily an entire baseball season without fatiguing. Because he's physically built. He's not just big and fat. He's not just a Mo Vaughn or a Cecil Fielder. Or a Prince Fielder. He's like athletic as hell. So I think he's gonna be able to withstand the whole punishment and the winter and all of that. But here's probably the most impressive thing that nobody talks about. I don't know how many pounds is on is his bat. Like, I don't know how many pounds his bat is. But Vladimir Guerrero said, one of the things that helped me when I got in was they told me, like, you got to get a bigger bat, right? And I'm like, what? Why do I get a bigger bat? I mean, that doesn't make any sense, because I can swing easier with a little bat. But as soon as he started hitting the ball with a bigger bat, the ball just started going further. So I'm like, oh, shit, the coach was right. So you hit the ball further with the bigger bat once you get used to it. I'm sure Aaron Judge probably carries one of the heaviest bats in baseball, because he bench presses 400 pounds, he squats 500. So I'm pretty sure his bat's got to be like at least fucking 48 pounds or some shit like that. I don't know. I mean, so that's probably why he's hitting the ball so fucking far. So I'm sure Aaron Judge will be able to withstand. Gary Sanchez, a little bit concerning because he is a catcher, so his wear and tear is going to come down a lot faster than on Aaron Judge. So of course that is a concern. But
he's young. Yeah. It'll be years before you have to worry about that.
From this point forward, the only thing the Yankees got to do is fire Joe Girardi and get another coach that can actually coach up some pitchers before Joe Girardi fucks up Chad Green, how he's fucked up every other single pitcher that's come up in the Yankees pipeline.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I said it.
Those are some harsh words from Mr. Girardi.
Shout out to Dago. If you don't agree, just show it on the comment section, buddy. Because I know you probably got something to say about that.
Oh, well, he won a World Series, man. He must be doing something right.
Yeah, he won one World Series with millions of dollars in talent and 3 pitchers that he didn't build any of them. CC Sabathia, AJ Burnett, and Andy Pettitte. They were old, and none of them were made by Joe Girardi, and he blew all 3 of them out of the fucking game. CC Sabathia went drunk after that. AJ Burnett was never good again because he fucking wore him out, and Andy Pettitte had to retire because he wears out arms. Joe Girardi has no idea how to coach pitchers or how to manage pitchers at all.
Harsh words. Did you watch the All Star Game?
I did not. No, thank God, because it seemed kind of boring when I saw on the scoreboard or whatever. Apparently, it was all Latin players, according to what I heard and saw in the highlights.
The offense was mainly from the Latin players.
Yeah.
Yes. It looks like they were having fun. A couple of cheesy moments. Nelson Cruz. He stopped and he asked Ayer Molina to take a picture of him with the catcher. I have no idea, not with the catcher, sorry, with the umpire. I have no idea what the hell that's about. Like, you spend 162 games cursing out whoever they put on you as an umpire, and now you want to take a picture with them. It's ridiculous. I didn't like the fact By the way, I heard that this year they stopped doing that thing where if you win the All Star game, you get a home field advantage in the playoffs and in the World Series. So that was a little bit of a twist. I'm not really sure what you're playing it now. They actually made it a downright exhibition and nothing else. They still wanted to win. Why? I don't really know. I guess bragging rights. But it's really hard to get offense going when you have the best pitchers in baseball
Hmm.
pitching for 2 innings essentially, if even that. Coming at you with their best stuff. They throw a full inning of 90 miles per hour and their best curve with the best cuts before they even get tired. They don't get any kind of wear on them or anything. And you're expecting players to come out there and hit them. And also the hitters, they're there for an inning or two. They basically get warmed up. They get a few hacks, and they might not come around again. Like in a normal game, you have a good game if you go, 2 for 4, but you're not going to get, 4 chances in an All-Star game. So it kind of is what it is. I've learned not to expect a whole bunch of offense. I kind of feel though, and I haven't done this, so I haven't looked it up. So if I'm wrong, somebody can go ahead and correct me. But it feels to me like all of the games now go to extra innings, and they basically end in a mistake. It has to be
Hmm.
like a home run or some kind of error or something to end the game, and that's kind of the result of it yesterday. So if you didn't watch it, this is what happened. There was a home run in the fifth. There was another home run in the sixth, and then it went tied into the top of the 10th home run. And then you brought in Andrew Miller, who has crazy stuff, and he ended the game. That was that. American League wins.
Yeah, I didn't see the game. I mean, I know I said it was probably not that great, but adding to your point, one of the things that baseball has done right, and people praise about baseball, is that the All Star game is actually fun to watch because players go hard. So I think the game itself allows you to go hard. I saw Bryce Harper do a pretty nice defensive play, and that was a hustle play. So unlike football and baseball, these guys can actually go hard and show us a competitive All Star game of what we really want to watch. So
Well,
I'm
actually,
okay with
there
that
was a
part.
there was a play in the bottom of the 10th where Justin Upton had to lay out to catch the ball. He probably saved a double that could have potentially made the game a little bit more dramatic towards the end. You get a runner on second, and kind of the heart of the order coming up. But he laid out and he got that. They do play hard.
Nice.
Um, One of the criticisms during the World Baseball Classic was that the Latin players were trying harder than the American players. Like they're just like American players and even players from other countries that were more kind of uptight and more old school rules and that sort of thing. They weren't having as much fun. I think that here being able to play in the same clubhouse as some of these Latin players, it
Hmm.
kind of rubbed off on some of these guys, and it looked like all of them were having a lot more fun. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Bryce Harper smile before yesterday. And I mean, the guy that's going out there saying "make baseball fun again," I don't think I've ever seen him smile before yesterday. And Justin Upton, man, he had a big smile when he made that catch. He was like, "Man, I really saved the day here." And Robinson Cano gets the All Star Game MVP. I keep hearing, and again, I don't follow baseball to the extent that I probably should if I'm going to be talking about it, but uh, just Robinson Cano, he wins the MVP, and they keep saying that he was added late. I guess somebody that couldn't make the team for whatever reason, just played or got injured or whatever. He
Right.
came in as a replacement, and he won the MVP. Uh, he gives a speech. It seems pretty heartfelt, and then they give him the option to pick a Chevy. It's either a Chevy Silverado or a Corvette. And this guy says, "Well, that's an easy choice. I'll let you decide what he picked."
I don't know what he picked. No, but the easy choice. I guess is the Corvette. So if you're laughing about it, he picked the Silverado.
No, he did not. He picked the Corvette.
Oh, okay, of
And they
course.
asked him, "Oh, why was that an easy choice?" I'm like, he just looked at him and he didn't want to say anything bad about the pickup truck. He was like, "Yeah, I was just gonna get this one before, and look, and now I came here, I played this game, and now I just win it." So serendipity.
Nice, nice. I mean, regarding the home run derby,
Robinson Cano did not say serendipity, by the way. I don't think he knows how to pronounce that.
I don't think he knows what that means either. No offense to Robinson Cano. I'm just talking about his English. That was funny. All right, man. So the home run derby. I told you I wanted some things to say about it. This is just me personally. I don't like the new format.
Okay.
First of all, if you're gonna do matchups for elimination, I think they should have done everybody from one league versus and on one bracket, and everybody from another league on another bracket. So you have
Mhm.
the two supposedly best home run hitters from each league match up at the end, because it is the National League versus the American League in the All Star Game, and it is the American League versus the National League in the championship game in the World Series. So I think that would add a little bit more dynamic to the home run derby. And the other thing I didn't like that you said you did, and I understand why you did in a way, is the timing. The 4 minutes and hit as many home runs as you can. It seems to be more fun because you get to see more swings, you get to see more home runs. It makes it more dynamic for the viewer. But when it comes to baseball, this, if you noticed, it came down to pretty much a conditioning drill more than a home run drill, because these guys were worn the fuck out after they lasted 4 minutes doing like fucking 100 swings in those 4 minutes. So I mean, at the end, Sano could barely get the swing out at the end. At the end, in the final round, you can tell he was exhausted. Aaron Judge, of course, I think he's the best home run hitter in baseball right now. His stats say so, but his physique helps him withstand this drill. This 4 minutes per as many swings as you can. I prefer the old format with the 10 outs. I mean, anyways, it's not like pitchers stand up at the mound and start throwing as many pitches as they can in 4 minutes. You got to try to hit as many balls as you can or get on base as many times as you can.
Yes, but the thing is, they swing at everything because you have to make every swing count.
Yeah,
With the other format, they used to let a lot of balls just kind of go by, and
right.
when you're watching that, you're just like, oh, come on, guy, take a swing. When you throw four pitches and they don't swing at any of them, it's like, oh, I didn't like that one. It tends to drag, and you're just like, oh, nothing's happening. Here it's like with everyone, you're like, oh, here goes another one. And they actually allowed this whole thing for timeouts. I know that they were going to be worn out regardless, but they get a chance to get a timeout. And I think that in the first round, when Aaron Judge was down, I think Justin Bour hit something like 22 home runs.
Hmm.
So he was down, and he asked for a timeout. Then he comes back, and he just whacks like 15 home runs, almost back to back in like
It's
2 minutes. It was insane.
in the final round. He didn't even need 2 minutes. He got all the home runs out in a minute and a half.
Yep.
It's insane. But I know what you're saying. That's why I said for the viewer, in a way, it's good. But like for the essence of finding out who is the real home run hitter, I prefer the 10 outs format. You get to pick your balls.
Mm.
You get to pick your balls. You get to take your time. You get to rest in between swings. And it got to a point like the commentators on the home run derby, they couldn't even before while they were announcing one home run, Aaron Judge was already hitting another home run. So I'm not even joking. That literally happened. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad. Though. I'm just saying I'm gonna be kind of old school here, and I'm gonna prefer the old
Well,
format.
they tweak it every year, kind of like they do with the slam dunk contest. So it wouldn't be beyond them to do a little more tweaking. Maybe they tweak the back and make the heads a little bit more interesting. It seemed to me like Aaron Judge could probably hit 100 home runs. He
Yeah.
didn't have to though, because he was always going last, and it basically you swing and you get these many home runs. He just has to hit one more, so he just hit enough to move on to the next round until he eventually won. All right, so I remember at the beginning of the baseball season, I had the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago Cubs making the World Series. Cubs are not looking great.
Nope.
Do you have any idea, anything that makes you think that they're going to be a better team in the second half of baseball?
I don't think they are. I don't think they are because everybody was crazy about their young talent, but what got them there was their pitching. Their pitching is not there this year. I don't see their pitchers go all the way back to how they were last year, like just at the flick of a button, or just because the All Star break in. Arrieta, Lester, and Lackey, they're not at the same level as they were last year. Unfortunately, it's not the same. So I don't see it. And of course the hitters aren't the same either. It was a mystic year. They're a very talented team. They'll probably be right there in the race next year again. But just this year is just they're young. So inconsistency is normal. I don't see them even getting far into the playoffs this year the way that they're playing.
If they even make the
If
playoffs, I
they even
think
make the playoffs, yeah, exactly. That's
right
exactly.
now at the All Star break, I think Milwaukee would be that division. I would have never in my wildest dreams thought that Milwaukee would be anywhere near any kind of success. I thought they would basically fire selling that team.
Yeah, I
Um,
had if anything, my prediction is still correct because if I'm not mistaken, I have to go back and check. I know for sure I had the Cleveland Indians because I have them winning the World Series. And I believe in the National League, I had the Washington Nationals, but I have to double check to make sure because since I was so set on the Indians winning the World Series this year, I didn't put too much mind into the National League. But again, Houston is looking really good. So Houston is looking like the Cubs from last year this year. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I feel like Houston does that every other year, but they're basically an excellent regular season team, kind of the way that I see the Seattle Mariners, just an excellent regular season team. Come playoff time, though, they just kind of fade away.
Yeah, the Blue Jays too. Not that this year the Blue Jays are great, but they've been like that the last few years.
Yeah,
Great in the regular, and then they suck in the postseason.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess we have some storylines to look forward to in the coming weeks before football starts. We'll talk a little bit more baseball, but just wanted to kind of stop there and talk a little bit about the All Star Game. For what it's worth, it was the festivities, the Derby and the game themselves. They were fun to watch, mainly because there wasn't much else to watch during that time. But
Hmm.
now such is life. UFC. This was International Fight Week for UFC, and they had two events back to back. They had an event on Friday, the Ultimate Fighter finale, and then they had UFC 213. I haven't watched the Ultimate Fighter since I moved back to Brooklyn. I don't know who these guys are. Probably why a lot of them make the UFC roster, and I don't know the hell I'm cheering for, or it's really hard to make picks. But I can tell you that I did not watch the finale. I don't care who won. I have no idea what weight class they were fighting in. I do know that the coaches were TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt. They were supposed to be the main event for UFC 213, and they were going to have a co-main event of Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko, and then they were going to have an undercard of Robbie Lawler and Cowboy Cerrone, and that main event just fell apart. Just, piece by piece by piece, they just started dropping like flies, and eventually it came down to Robert Whittaker versus Joel Romero. Do you want to talk about the event first, Packy, and then we get into why these fighters dropped out?
I mean, first of all, regarding the Ultimate Fighter, I didn't check it out either. So, and I'll be straight up honest. This is one of the few and very rare times that I did not
You've been
see.
honest?
Yeah, to be honest, no, that I did not watch the pay-per-view. I'm planning on watching it sometime during the week. I haven't had time to watch it yet because I have to watch it from behind. So I'll give a brief analysis on what I saw and read about each fight when we get to it. But people forget that this event
What do
was
you mean when we get to it? This is it. We're here now.
yeah, I mean like a fight by fight basis if we do. But this event was cursed from the get-go because everybody forgets the main event for this event was originally Cody Garbrandt versus T.J. Dillashaw.
I just said that like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, everybody forgets that though. Is what I'm saying.
Who's everybody? I just told you that.
Nobody's mentioned it before you did.
That's a lie. People knew this.
No, and then you had Amanda Nunes come out. It's ridiculous. First of all, I don't think it's fair what they're doing with T.J. Dillashaw, man, in the UFC. I mean, they're forcing him to drop weight to get a title fight. Now he has to wait for Cody Garbrandt, who's hurt. I'm a big T.J. Dillashaw supporter, so to me, this is retarded. They should give Dillashaw a legit shot. Give him an interim title in the meantime. I mean, do it for everybody else, and then have him fight Cody Garbrandt if it's necessary. But
Well, before you get too far to the point of no return where I can't bring you back, I want to go ahead and congratulate you on air, man. I heard that you're the new voice of Cool. What's that called? Combate something?
yeah, Combate Urbano Libre. Yeah, we still gotta
All
get
right.
it on ink,
Hey,
but yeah, man. But that's gonna happen.
props.
The next
Wait,
main,
was I not allowed to say it then?
no, it's fine. The
You can
next
go ahead
main
and cut it.
the next main event will be on September 17th here in the Dominican Republic. So that's like the UFC promotion of the Dominican Republic. At KUL.
It's the MMA promotion of the
Yeah,
United
I'm
Republic.
sorry. Yeah, but it's actually the top MMA promotion in the Caribbeans, not just the Dominican Republic.
So that includes.
A bunch of other MMA promotions. I know, but the point is, we had an interview with the president of KUL, and he explained if the UFC, for example, that they're traveling when they travel to these countries, these small countries, to promote a UFC event, these
Right.
fighters are not originally on a UFC roster. what happens is they actually take them from the local promotions and promote it as a UFC event, and so they can promote the sport itself. It's like a borrow, and they normally look for uh, the main promoter in that region. So if UFC ever goes to the Caribbean, they'd probably have to go through KUL. So that's pretty cool to know. Maybe that in the future would happen. There's a couple
Well,
of
finger crossed that one day you'll get Jake Dana White's hand.
yeah, man. Who knows? That'd be pretty cool. So, hopefully everything turns out great, man, and it's gonna be an awesome
I
experience.
mean, you already kissed his ass, so I don't.
Yeah. It's gonna
What's
be
a handshake?
It's gonna be a fun experience. The fights are actually pretty good. So if you want to look them up on YouTube, they're Combate Urbano Libre all together, and there's been 8 events. Number 2 wasn't recorded, so 1 through 8, and you're gonna see some pretty crazy knockouts, man. They're not that bad. Of course, technique-wise, they're not the same as UFC. No other promotion is, but they're pretty fun fights. There's a lot of knockouts. A lot of knockouts.
Well, sir, all I can tell you, I have 2 pieces of advice for you. The first one is get the clearance and have them sponsor us, because I know for damn sure that other podcast you do is probably not going to be talking about any cool anytime soon. So I am happy to talk about the fighters, the promotion, and all that stuff. En español, si tengo que decirlo, I don't care. We'll talk cool. Get the clearance. We'll post links of their events or just individual fights in our in our comment section and in our description. And the other thing is, you got to be impartial, man. If you're going to call play-by-play, you can't fall in love with fighters like you're doing right now with TJ Dillashaw. I mean, you're complaining about him dropping. They're forcing him to drop. They're not forcing him to do shit. He's the one that says, I only want to fight if I want to fight. It's going to be for a title. So if Cody Garbrandt can't go, then put me in the next title that's in my weight class. I'll drop to 125. I will fight DJ
Cody.
Man, I forgot his name. Demetrius Johnson.
Demetrius Johnson, yeah.
And Demetrius Johnson is the one that Dana White is getting all over because he doesn't want to fight, TJ Dillashaw for whatever the reason. Say because he's scared, say because whatever you want to say. He has his home thing where he's like, Ray Borg, blah, blah, blah. He's been fighting up the ranks. He should be the one fighting. You can't drop down from 135 to 125 for the first time and fight me. And what if he wins? Like, this guy who's never fought 125. He has to consistently drop to 125 and defend it. Or maybe he wins and he never drops 125 again, so he doesn't defend it. He just gets another belt for the sake of getting another belt. As much as you want to say that it's biased against TJ Dillashaw, I also think that Demetrius Johnson has a few fair points there.
He does, yeah.
The fight, yeah, maybe people want to see it. Maybe people will get excited about seeing a former champion and a current champion and a super fight, if you will, because they're fighting amongst 2 different divisions, and they're big names because there's really no big name in 125 pounds.
Right.
So people would want to see it, but honestly, you can't be that short-sighted where you just think about that one fight. I mean, everything is glory basically if Demetrius Johnson wins. It's another day at the office, right? And it's probably his biggest win, and he beats some Anderson Silva record for most title defenses and all that other stuff. Fantastic, he gets all of that. But what if TJ Dillashaw wins? He's going to continue to drop to 125. Is he going to defend?
Here's something that is probably going to segue us to the next topic. I agree with what DJ is saying, but here is where my favoritism and my praise to Conor McGregor go. Would you picture McGregor saying some shit like that to defend the title? I mean, I know he hasn't defended yet. I know, blah, blah, blah. But
no, I can't picture it because he's never done it.
I can't see Conor McGregor using an excuse to back out of any fight because he's never done it before. So, I don't know, man. You're in the fight business. You got to roll with the punches, man. If you're really the best 125, just go ahead and beat him. I don't know. That's how I see it. But I'm not saying he's wrong. Just go ahead and beat him.
I can see where you're coming from, but I really there's a lot of things that I don't favor McGregor in, and the fact of the matter is I think he handpicks his fights basically. So I don't know if it was a fight that he didn't like, he wouldn't take it.
He handpicks champions.
Would he make up an excuse? I don't know, maybe if he didn't like the fight, but they basically put in his way people that he feels like he can beat. Champions?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. I honestly
champions. That's what you're. I mean, he doesn't handpick crumbs.
Well, you know what? He beat a champion, Jose Aldo, right? I'll give you that one. This is a bona fide champion who's defended the title, amen, all that other good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when he fought at 155 pounds, he had already fought twice at 170, did not defend his 145. He didn't beat any single contender to fight at 155, and he goes against a champion who just won. And all due respect to Eddie Alvarez, he really wasn't supposed to be Rafael Dos Anjos. Like, that was a shock to about everyone.
If it's fair, Conor also handpicked Rafael Dos Anjos, and he ran away from him, so...
I remember he had a fucking bruise in his foot, dude. It's a bruise.
Yeah, your accent's pretty good. I can't do that Irish accent. Not even, I try, and I sound like a Hindu. I just can't do it. I can't.
Oh, man. All right, so UFC 213, because we got so totally derailed.
Yeah.
A couple of fights worth mentioning. Fabio Verdum fought against Alistair Overeem.
Do you think that was a fair decision, though?
See?
Do you think that was a fair decision?
I don't know, man. It's crazy how, like, they have this scoring system, but it doesn't apply to every city. They have certain rules, like thing with the, and this doesn't apply to this fight, but the whole thing with the hands on the floor, like one hand, you can't hit him a knee, but some places require two hands. If you lift them up, are they really having hands on the knee? It's crazy. Like, every city you have to pick and choose. And if you're watching, look up on your cell phone, what are the rules in this city where they're fighting now? And it's just kind of crazy that way. So they fought in a city that honors that promotes more like 8-point rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I kind of feel like if they're going to give an 8-point round, they gave an 8-point round to Verdum in one instance. I don't feel like they did the same thing for Verdum in the following round. We started to kind of pick it up, and ultimately it goes to a split decision. The thing you have to see, though, is Antonio Bigfoot Silva posts something about the results of the fight, and he basically puts the whole round. And what you got to remember is, if you're a judge, you're judging on what you see that round, and you submit your score, and you forget about that round, and you move on to score the next round. And at the end of it, they just add up everything you did, and they go for that, and they give a score. So in the totality of the fight, right, Verdum had more strikes landed. He had the takedown. He had all these other things that probably would indicate that he did more in the fight. But round by round, the way that they scored it, Alistair Overeem won that one. Do I agree with it? I don't know. But then again, I'm not really a judge. I can only tell you what I see. Am I going to stress this fight too much? Not really, because I don't think that either one of these guys are contenders. This was not a contender fight. This doesn't put him any closer to a title fight. Alistair Overeem just fought for the title, so it doesn't look like he's going to fight for it anytime soon. He was the title defense right before Junior Dos Santos, I think. So I don't think Alistair Overeem, even winning this, gets him any closer to a title fight. It just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, that heavyweight division is dead. They're really trying to pump it up. They got 3 heavyweight divisions in the card. 2 of them on the main card. But nobody really cares about the heavyweight division. It's boring. There's not much time. They need to get somebody new in there to really inject some stuff into it. I'm not convinced.
I mean, Francis Ngannou's coming up, if that matters.
Yeah, he's coming up. But they still got to do a little bit better promoting him, because not many people know him. We know him because we watch every free event. But you ask...
Indeed.
Yeah, you ask anybody else, nobody cares or knows who he is, and he's not going to sell anything. They haven't even put him in a main card yet. But I really like what he brings to the table, though. I don't understand why, because you got to bring this new talent in, but whatever. But regarding the middleweight fight, the main event, which was supposed to be the third fight,
right.
Robert Whittaker versus Joel Romero. I have a very important question to ask you and every MMA fan out there. Is nobody took Robert Whittaker seriously? Is it time we start taking this guy seriously? He just beat Jacare Souza and Joel Romero back-to-back. He also, if you want to add in there that he beat in Derek Brunson, Uriah Hall, his last loss was to Stephen Thompson in 2014, and Wonderboy Thompson is pretty good. And that was at another weight class. So,
what's the question?
do you think like Robert Whittaker's a real deal? Like, do you see this guy as a real threat to stay the champion once Michael Bisping comes back? Everybody was praising Joe Romero and Souza. Nobody was talking about Whittaker, and he was not the favorite in either fight. So, what do you think? You think that he's legit?
No,
I don't believe it. I think that it's a matter of opportunity. He's kind of coming up at the right time. He's getting opportunities, and he's making the best of them, which a lot of people, they may not do. But the fact of the matter is, I feel that the 185-pound division was a lot riper with talent back when Anderson Silva was defending over and over and over and over. Right now, I mean, the champion is Michael Bisping. I never really thought much of Michael Bisping. To me, he was kind of a gatekeeper who finally broke through in a fight that, to many people, he wasn't even supposed to win. Like, he won it hands down, but there was no way he was supposed to be Luke Rockhold. Jacare Souza, very impressive. He beats Tim Bosch. He feels like he doesn't have a scratch on him. He takes another fight when he really didn't need to rush into another fight, and he gets surprised by Robert Whittaker, who just put his lights out. Joel Romero, I mean, with Joel Romero, what you have to do is just kind of avoid the big hit and let him tire out. And in 5 rounds, man, by the end of round 2, he was absolutely gassed, and that's when Robert Whittaker took over. Props to Whittaker, though, because he got hit in the knee really, really hard, like a straight kick to the knee that made his knee buckle and kind of hyperextend, and he was basically hopping on one leg the whole fight. And, it would have been what do I even call this? It would have been the cherry on top of this cursed event if he would have had to withdraw mid-fight because he just couldn't even walk anymore. I mean, it looked pretty bad. You haven't seen it yet, but when you do, check it out. He's basically he's on his tiptoes. He looks like he's like Sagat in Street Fighter. Basically, like he's even standing different. He's walking with a limp. It's insane. And basically, he won a unanimous decision. So it was a solid game plan. Wait for Romero to gas out and then score a bunch of points. No, I don't think he's the real deal. But we got to see him against more contenders to see what really happens. I don't know about Michael Bisping. He may be able to take him out. Michael Bisping is the opposite of Romero, though. Like, he'll just take a bunch of hits. Like, his face will look like silly putty by the end of a fight, but he'll still be standing. And then at the end, like, if you're trying to outlast Michael Bisping, that's not the game you want to play.
Yeah, it's really disappointing to see Joel Romero go out like that. But once again, for some reason, muscular guys, their cardio is not there. It's really hard to. I mean,
he's muscular and he's like 40 years old. I don't know his exact age, but he's pushing 40.
He's exactly 40, but he just looks so athletic and so light on his feet and so nimble that we forget that he's 40. And he has a young spirit also. But man, when you're muscular in the UFC, you better hit really hard, really quick, man, because it always happens.
He does hit really hard. It's just, if he doesn't knock you out, then he's in for a long night because he's going to gas out and just kind of get abused. So we kind of talked about the 2 main event fights. Going backwards just a little bit, Anthony Pettis looked good. You want to say he went back to 155 pounds, the division where he was a champion, after not being able to close out at 145 against some of the legit contenders there. His last loss, I believe, was to Max Holloway. Max Holloway's no joke, man. He's currently the champion of 145, and he was going through a lot of things, man. Like a lot of stuff he had to deal with. Like, I think somebody was like vandalizing his cars and burning his house or something like that. But I'm glad to see Showtime, back to his winning ways. It wasn't as exciting. He didn't end the fight. It was a unanimous decision, but it was a win nonetheless. And Travis Brown, oh man, what can we say about Travis Brown?
I don't even want to talk about Travis Brown. I didn't really see the fight, and I don't really feel about talking to him. He sucks.
Yeah, man. I think that he had a couple of spectacular fights, some interesting knockout, and people just kind of got that Travis Brown name, but
he sucks.
In terms of being a complete mixed martial artist, he doesn't have it.
4 straight losses, man. I don't even know why he's still in the UFC.
Ronda Rousey.
You have really good people like Mousasi move on to Bellator, and this piece of shit is still there. I'm tired of seeing him in the events.
That's probably another reason why he's still around. I mean, when you're losing so much talent in Bellator, can you really afford to lose everyone? Like Travis Brown, even if he's lost 4 in a row, he's still a recognizable name, and
he's
even more now
an addition by distraction. Fuck that. Get him out of there. I'm tired. I mean, I would not see. If I would have been tuning into that fight, I would have gone get some chips or something, take a bathroom break while he was fighting. I'm not interested in watching Travis Brown.
Well, he was the main event of the prelim, so
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
I'm not sure what you would have done there. Get your chips ready for the main event.
Yeah, man, go buy more beers or whatever. I don't know. This guy is retarded. I don't want to see him. He sucks. All his fights are boring, or embarrassing. That's not really my type of guy.
I did not see any women matches.
Oh, I did want to mention that Anthony Pettis did say in the press conference, which I did tune into, he broke his hand in that fight. So probably be take some time for him to get back.
Yeah, he'd probably get a 6-month suspension. This happens way too often, though. Duke Rufus is his coach, by the way. He was on the UFC Unfiltered podcast talking about the way that fighters take their hands. They don't let them tape across the knuckles, and you kept getting these situations where they keep breaking their hands.
Mm-hmm.
They should probably look into it if they haven't already. This is something that's probably going to haunt these guys somewhere down the road. Whatever. I see some of the payouts here. Nothing that I'm extremely interested about. With Amanda Nunes pulling out of the fight like a good Brazilian, she was the only female representation on this card, so there were no female fights.
Like
pretty much move on from there.
like a good Brazilian. That's a good one, man. I hadn't seen it that way.
Oh, you haven't heard the joke about that Brazilians don't wear condoms because they all pull out?
That's a pretty good joke.
All of them pull out, and Amanda Nunes is no different. All right, so we mentioned Joel Romero and his 40-year-old body, and that just opens the floodgates for another 40-year-old who's looking to make a splash very soon. On August 26th, we are going to get a main event fight between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather Jr. Some know him as Money Mayweather, but more importantly than that, it seems like the press conferences, the World Tour is what they call it, is underway. What have you thought so far of the World Tour?
All right, man. We only got like about 2 or 3 minutes to talk about this, and I don't think we should be talking much more about it because it's all about the tour right now. The fight will be fun. Everybody's talking about the fight. We'll have more than enough time. But these tours, man, I'm disappointed I couldn't tune into the one today. I'll probably check it out as soon as we're finished here. But it's fun, man. I mean, I wanted this fight to happen because of this more than the fight itself. You have two of the best trash talkers of all time going at it. I mean, that suit with the "fuck you" on it as pinstripes was legendary. That is some epic stuff right there. To me, that's worth it right there. I mean, just the creativity with these guys. And I just heard that the second press conference in Toronto was even better. So I'm loving it, man. I'm gonna watch every single press conference that I can, man.
So I know that you saw the Los Angeles press conference and that you weren't too thrilled about Mayweather's performance, but the fact of the matter is the way that professional analysts in this area see it, and I guess the way they read the crowd, more people were swayed by Mayweather. If you consider this a debate, you could say that Mayweather won. Yeah, you were tired of hearing the hard work and other stuff.
Yeah, the hard work thing had me tired.
Everyone in the crowd, man, they seemed to sing along. They knew exactly what they needed to do. When he said point to the easy money, everybody was pointing at McGregor. So I don't know, man. I don't watch boxing to know the chant, but I kind of felt compelled to find out what the hell they were saying. I wanted to chant along, man. That felt kind of fun to me. Hard work!
To me, it was just a trick so he can buy time to say some other shit.
Hard work!
Whenever he got stuck, he started yelling hard work. That's how I saw it.
He's friends with 50 Cent, and 50 Cent is notorious for just jumping in and yelling G-Unit when he doesn't know what else he's supposed to say.
And to me, I mean, I'm not criticizing Mayweather's work because of course he can, but you talking about hard work going up against Conor McGregor, who's pretty much the epitome of hard work in combat sports, it's just like, no. This guy wasn't given anything. McGregor has fought his ass off literally for everything he's gotten, and he's one
Debatable.
of the few, and he's one of the few fighters that actually stays in shape all year round and trains all year round. He doesn't take any vacation, so this guy works hard at his game, and we've seen him improve. So I don't know, just had that hard work thing kind of like got me like, whatever. I think he could have done better.
Hard work. I really want to find out the rest of this chant, man. It seems fun. I want to chant along with it. I saw McGregor's portion of today's press conference. he looked like Chris Rock walking around there in a suit, holding a microphone, just kind of walking around and doing a routine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to see what, or actually to hear, because I can see it. It's on my TV right now. I didn't get a chance to hear what Mayweather was saying, but McGregor says, you're a 40-year-old man, act your age, walking around here with a school bag. You don't even know how to read.
I'm loving the accent again, man.
Yeah, this school bag don't even know how to read.
Yeah, McGregor looks big next to Mayweather, though. I'll tell you that much.
He's taller. He's
Yeah, but
taller.
he looks. I don't know if it's his head or what, but he just looks bigger than everybody he fights.
So yeah, man. The thing is, McGregor wearing a suit, he's going to look a little bigger than Mayweather with his T-shirt on. But the fact of the matter is, he's taller. He probably has more of a reach advantage. But I've seen the sparring sessions, man, and it still doesn't look like McGregor knows how to spar. Like I don't know if he knows what he's going to be doing out there.
Yeah, I never said he was gonna win, but I'm just surprised that everybody talks about McGregor's left hand and his position and whatnot. Nobody talks about how big his fucking head is. Like, did you stop to watch how big his head is?
I
I'm like,
mean, does that make it a target though?
I
Like,
don't know. I mean, I haven't seen him get knocked out in UFC. He has been rung a bit by Chad Mendes. I remember that, but and by Diaz. But I don't know, man. His is
I
just
mean,
big, huh?
even Aldo connected when he fell. Like he was knocked out in the air before he hit the ground, but he hit him across the eye.
I just don't know how his shirt necks, how they don't get messed up when he puts them on, because his head is so fucking big. But
Oh, just wear
whatever.
tank tops.
Yeah, but whatever, man. I think it's no debate. Nobody had McGregor winning the fight, me included. I'm a big McGregor fan. So I don't think the debate is that here. I think we should just enjoy the press conference and have more debates about who won each press conference more than the fight itself, since we know Mayweather's probably going to win it.
Well, it would seem, from the experts in this field that Mayweather might have won Los Angeles. I think though that McGregor won Toronto.
Oh, I can't wait to watch Toronto.
Probably because McGregor is a foreigner. He's not an American, so they're probably cheering for him a lot more. But yeah, man, he treated it like a stand-up comedy session. He's him walking around in a suit, looking no different than Jerry Seinfeld or Chris Rock, just kind of walking around, microphone in hand, jokes, doing this. And Mayweather did his thing. He walked around, and then he goes, everybody's face by face. He's talking shit to Dana right in his face. Then he goes and talks shit to McGregor. What I don't get though is, they talk all this slime, and the other guy's just laughing. Like, what is the point of this? I understand the press conference when you sit and people ask you questions. You're answering the questions, but what is this? When you get out there and you just talk to the public, what are they doing? Do they normally do this for fights?
Yeah, they just probably don't do that tour. But yeah, and they don't do them all together like they're doing this now. But remember that they're on a tight time frame. But I mean, just think about it. In boxing, in MMA not as much, but in boxing, just think about that Canelo and Chavez. They were all over the place before the fight actually happened. It's just people weren't really because nobody cared about Chavez. But since obviously everybody cares about this, you're selling the fight. This is how you sell a fight, and this is how this fight is probably going to break all pay-per-view records with these press conferences.
I mean, I feel I was gonna watch it anyway. I'm still probably gonna watch it, unless I get massively sick the day of the fight. So
It's really funny because there's a lot of people saying like, "There's no way I'm going to pay for that pay-per-view," but they're watching the press conference, and I'm pretty sure by the end of the press conference, they're probably going to watch the fight.
it's the same thing that happened with Mayweather Pacquiao. Like at the end of the day, it was too late. Like, no one really cared about the fight itself anymore. But the fact of the matter is, you want to see this live. Like this is a once in a lifetime event. They're probably not going to run this fight back regardless of the results.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want anyone telling you how it ended. You want to actually see the.
Yeah, because the only thing, I don't think Mayweather's going to knock out McGregor. If Mayweather's going to win by decision, in my opinion. But the only thing that makes this fight worth watching is the slight, tiniest possibility that McGregor might knock him out.
The puncher's chance.
Yeah, if McGregor knocks out Mayweather, that's going to be all in every single front page of every single newspaper of every single country in the entire world.
Here's the thing.
That's it. That's what makes it worth watching. That's it.
Yes, very strong left hand, but I've never seen him hit him with that left hand and just turn around and walk away. He doesn't knock people out the way that Mark Hunt does, where he just does that Mark Hunt walk away, just punch him and leave. So he will punch you, you may hit the ground, you may not, but he follows up. And in boxing, you're not allowed to. So after you hit
Well,
him, you
I
know,
I don't know.
Floyd has that whole 10 count to kind of get back up. I don't think that McGregor can land one punch that's going to put him to sleep for 10 seconds flat.
Well, if he hits him with one that takes him out for a few seconds, chances are he could hit another one because Mayweather's not going to have the same speed. But with Aldo, I'm pretty sure Aldo was out with the first punch. He just followed up because he was that close. But Aldo was dead as soon as he hit the floor.
Well, actually, I think he might have punched him back into reality because when he was on the floor and he got hit a few more times, he popped his eyes open and he was saying, like, what the hell's happening? Why am I out?
I mean, Aldo just blacked out as soon as he made contact on the first punch. I'm sorry.
Yeah, possible, but, we will never know because he did hit him on the ground. So that's something that,
right.
Truth be told, I have never seen him do
That's a good
where
point,
he punches someone and waits 10 seconds and they don't come back.
That's a good point, though, because it'd be messed up if he knocks down Mayweather one or two times during the fight and he doesn't knock him out and then loses. That's a very big possibility, and nobody talks about that. You're right. I've said you're right a lot in this episode, so fuck you.
Wow. Okay. All right, man. So, we were recording. I stopped. I did the intro. In the intro, I said you actually lost your lights. Let's wrap this up before we have another snafu in that sense. We're going to be back next week. Next week, we're going to look forward to, probably both having already seen the Spider-Man movie.
Right.
We're going to be reviewing a little bit more of these press conferences and what new developments have come around. And we'll just talk about, anything and everything because the fact of the matter is still no football, basketball's over, and no more MLB All Star Game. So, listen, man, we're clawing and scrapping for content, but we will be back here because, as you said, there's always something to talk about. We may just do an entire episode next week with nothing to do about sports.
Yeah, man, we could do that. It's fine.
Why the hell not? All right, well, everybody, thank you for joining us on the Unofficial Commentators this week. Stay tuned next week. See what the hell we come up with, what comes out of our crazy brains. Patty, thank you for joining us, man. Congratulations on all the successes. Tell people where they can find you.
At L Reyes 44. I'm trying to get more active on my Twitter, man. I really kind of outgrew Twitter, but I'm trying to get more into it. And of course on Instagram, I'm a little bit more active on that one. But yeah.
Give me solutions and not excuses. So yeah, you're the voice of KUL. You got your radio show going on. You got the Crows practice. How's that season looking? Any start date anytime soon?
I think they're set for August 19th. There has been some issues because of the field, but yeah, man, season should be starting sometime this summer for sure.
Jeez Louise, I'm waiting with bated breath. Is this the year that the Purple gets the title?
I hope.
Woo-wee, so many things to look forward to. Packy, you got a very busy schedule. Me, I got 2 jobs and a kid. Shout out to Angel. And I will be back here next week. Everyone, thank you for watching. Peace out.